Hello everyone. I am Angelin Swarna, Assistant Professor of English, Jayarajanabhagyam College, Periyakulam. This short video is a very brief introduction to memory and memory studies. Let us see what memory is all about. A brief introduction to cultural memory studies. Memory is a very interesting and important phenomenon. Memory is an all-encompassing socio-cultural process. It plays an important role in identity formation of the individual and various areas of social practice. In the late 20th century, memory studies has emerged as a thriving interdisciplinary field of study and research. Why is memory given this importance? One may wonder. Our memories form our identity and define who we are. Just bring to mind an old photograph, your childhood pet, your graduation day, a fun trip with friends. If given a chance, will any of us want to erase our memories? Then what would be left of us? A word, a house, a smell, a song can conjure up a world of memories. We are made of our memories. This would have given the answer to why memory is important. The word memory is derived from the Latin word memoria, meaning remembering or mindful. In Greek mythology, the goddess of memory, Mnemosyne, was revered as the mother of the muses. Memory is nothing new. Ancient civilizations and early modern world had their own rich and complex relationships to it. For Plato, memory is the present image of a previous imprint on the wax of the soul. By contrast to Aristotle, all memory is of the past. Down the centuries, scholars and critics have attempted great deliberations on the topic of memory. But the 20th century became the century of memory, devoted to it and consumed by it. So, what makes memory modern? A short answer would be the experiences and conditions of modern life. The late 19th and early 20th century brought with it a cascade of social, economical, and technological changes. These sweeping transformations made life move quickly, and people needed to keep up. There was less time to linger, lesser time to reflect. Technology began to replace some of the work of memory. The 20th century also was marked by the trauma of two world wars. World War I, the first mechanized war, tore Europe apart in carnage that has never been experienced before. The war left behind a bitter legacy of shell shock, what we refer today as post traumatic stress disorder in epidemic proportions. A quarter century later, World War II defied imagination with a mass atrocity known as the Holocaust, which made possible the murder of 6 million Jews. The Nazi atrocities were so heinous that they called upon those in the post war era to never forget. A phrase, indeed, that has become synonymous with responsibility after the Holocaust. These changes initiated a need to focus on memory, and towards the end of the 20th century, discourse on memory emerged as an urgent topic of debate in humanities, and the idea of memory came to be closely allied with autobiographical soul searching. 1970s saw what can be termed memory boom, which gave way to a variety of inquiry into science and literature. Henry Bergson, Sigmund Freud, and Emile Durkheim used and analyzed memory in their theoretical framework. But it was Maurice Holbachs, through his seminal work Memoir Collective, laid the foundation for memory studies. Halbachs argued that memory is not simply an individual phenomenon, but relational in terms of family and friends, and also societal and collective in terms of the social framework of social groups. Memory studies is thus a multidisciplinary field which began with individual memory, growing outward to focus on broader dimensions of social memory and the politics of public remembering. Let us have a quick glimpse at some of the important terms of memory studies. Individual memory is defined as a personal interpretation of an event from one's life. Although the term individual does imply that the personal outlook is only one contributing to memory formation. As social beings, this is virtually impossible. Cultural memory. Cultural memory has emerged as a useful umbrella term to describe the complex ways in which societies remember their past using a variety of modes of remembering. Collective memories are shared representations of a group's past based on a common identity. Flashbulb memories. In many cases, when a person says they remember something like the Mumbai bomb blast or Rajiv Gandhi's assassination happening, what they really mean is they remember learning about the event after it happened. In psychology, these are called flashbulb memories, which are memories of learning something so shocking or surprising that it creates a strong and seemingly very accurate memory of learning about the event but not the event itself. Traumatic memory. Some stressful experiences are so traumatic the memories hide like a shadow in the brain and cannot be consciously accessed. Eventually, suppressed memories can cause debilitating psychological problems. Post memory is the term used to describe the memories inherited but not yet part of one's experience. Children of the Holocaust survivors have reported that they have traumatic memories of events they have not personally experienced but have inherited from their parents. Prosthetic memory refers to memories that circulate through mass culture. Institutional memory is preserved in rituals, archives, historiography, museums, monuments, and street names. Mediatized and fictional memories consist of popularized documents, historical fiction, photographs, internet pages, and computer games. Confessions, memoirs, autobiography, and life writing serve as written memories. Language aids in memory, and literary texts can also effectively tell us how cultures help people to remember their own cultural specificity. The concept of memory in literature destabilizes grand narratives of history and power and becomes the very key to existence, becoming, and belonging. Now, let us take a quick look at how cultural memory works in literature. Let us take Wordsworth's The Prelude for example. When read from the point of view of cultural memory, the prelude gives us not only the record of a free and unstructured individual childhood, it gives also an unparalleled account of how it was possible to be a child in the late 18th century and of how childhood was being reconfigured as something to be remembered in particular ways through the 19th century. To read the prelude, then, is to treat it as any other historical document, as written testimony to individual testimony, which can be interwoven with other individual memories to build up a pattern of memories across a whole culture. John Keats similarly makes use of the individual collective dichotomy in his Ode on a Grecian Urn, in which he observes the eternal images painted on an ancient vase, constructs stories about them derived from his knowledge of ancient culture, and simultaneously considers his own ephemeral place in time. Marcel Proust furthered the evolution of memory in literature in his monumental autobiographical novel Remembrance of Things Past. In this work, Proust is plunged into memories of his childhood through the taste of madeleine, a small cake, when it is dipped in tea. One can find extensive interpolations of memory and culture in the writings of T.S. Eliot, Milan Kundera, Sebald, Julian Barnes, and others. In the modern world, then, memory is as important as ever a means of establishing authority, evoking nostalgia, and helping to forge personal and national identity. For a more comprehensive introduction to memory studies, please read Astrid Earle's Memory in Culture. Thank you. Thank you so much for your patient listening.